right, man. All right, here we go. Another episode of Grind My Gears. Today I have let me make sure I pronounce it right. Devon or
I answer to however it's pronounced. Devon.
Devon. I don't have a Jamaican accent to put
Yeah.
on. Devon Thompson. Uh now what's interesting about you is you're an entrepreneur. You've immigrated to this country recently, and you've been quite vocal about a lot of the stuff that's going on in Canada right now. But first of all, how you doing today? How's your day? How's everything?
I'm doing good. A little tired because
Yeah, we're
two
doing it.
kids running around, like some crazy people.
Yeah,
So
same. I got a 2 and a 4-year-old, so I'm in the same boat. Same boat.
yeah. So mine is a 5 and a 2-year-old.
Oh, so it's same boat. I feel your pain. I feel your pain.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but it is what it is, right? That's that's
Hmm.
that's dad life, right? So.
Yeah.
Uh, but well, when we get started, let's kind of give everybody a kind of an idea of like what you do and your background in terms of like work and where you're from. I know like
Mhm.
you're from Jamaica, but like just let everybody know kind of like what's your background in terms.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna skip a few things so that the cancel vultures don't
No,
jump
no,
onto it.
no, no,
But
fuck,
but I'm gonna
no, no, fuck the cancel vultures. This is a different show. I don't give a shit about the cancel vultures. Say whatever the hell you want to. That's the
yeah.
kind of pro
No,
answer.
there's something I have to skip, right? Because if I don't skip that, the cancer vultures are gonna jump on it and it's gonna be problem. So,
No,
I'm gonna start from the beginning. So as you said, I'm from Jamaica, originally from Jamaica.
yeah.
Um, I did my bachelor degree in industrial engineering systems while living in Jamaica at Caribbean Maritime Institute. I used to operate a FedEx vehicle. I used to be a delivery man in Jamaica.
Yeah.
I used to work on the wharves, operating heavy equipment. I operated trucks, I operated cranes, all that stuff. Um, but I eventually got injured in Jamaica,
Okay.
operating the heavy equipment.
Yeah.
And so here's the thing about Jamaica. I did my degree in engineering and I was looking forward to actually working in engineering in Jamaica,
Yeah.
right? But when you're a young person, you don't really know how the world works. You don't really realize what's happening around you. So when I graduated, I couldn't find any engineering jobs, right? So that's how I ended up working at FedEx. I ended up working operating heavy equipment. So what I did to maintain my knowledge in engineering, I started my own engineering company back in Jamaica. It was a
Uh,
solar panel company. I called it ATEC Renewable Energy Solutions, and I
Okay.
taught myself
How
um,
to
how
how to do
to
all that.
yeah, how to design solar panel systems, how to install solar panel systems. So at this point in time, I become an expert in it, and that kind of assisted me in my transition into Canada. I'm going to explain how.
Yeah.
So after I got injured while operating the heavy equipment machinery in Jamaica, I said, you know what? I feel like I'm wasting my time and wasting my talent here. I needed to do something more.
Yeah.
So I made the decision to go to school here in Toronto. So I applied to go to Centennial College and I applied to the advanced diploma in energy systems engineering technology program.
Okay.
Came here, did the course, and during the period of the course, I would work odd jobs because
Yeah.
um,
Doing what students have to do, right?
yeah, as a
Yeah.
student, a lot of Canadians don't understand. As a student in this country, an international student, it's
Yeah.
tough, it's hard. And there are many who didn't have the support structure that I had,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
I had family here. I have family here, right? I have my family back home. So
Yeah.
I had a support structure that I could rely on. There's so many who didn't have that. And these people right now, can you imagine what they're going through this pandemic?
Oh,
But
it's
anyway,
it's terrible.
yeah,
Yeah. We'll
yeah,
we'll get to that eventually,
yeah,
but
yeah, we're gonna
no.
get to it.
But what question I have is because
Yeah.
me and my wife, one of our, I think we've been to Jamaica a few times now. It's because
Hmm.
it's our favorite place to vacation. Because well, one, I love the culture and I'm brown, but two, and by the way, Jamaica has the best friggin' food out of
Hmm.
every Caribbean country. I don't get people can call me up for that shit. I don't
Yeah.
give a damn. Best Caribbean, best food on that island, bar none.
Hmm.
Um, but one thing, like when we were doing some of our tours and stuff like that, I noticed that some of the drivers there too. when we're talking, because you're in the car with them for 8+ hours
Yeah,
going to different parts of Jamaica. Some of them have it. Like one of our drivers had, I believe he was pretty much a doctor, but he was driving the car because he went to the States and he couldn't really get a job as a doctor there. Does that happen a lot where, people do a lot of studying in Jamaica and they just can't find a job because of,
yeah, yeah. Jamaica doesn't have, excuse me, Jamaica doesn't really recognize engineers. I wanted to be an engineer in
yeah.
Jamaica. Jamaica doesn't recognize engineers really. Engineers in Jamaica are mostly working as technicians.
Okay, gotcha. So they end up being like low of the totem pole. You do all that studying and
Yeah,
you basically don't really get to do it, and you get some like shitty job on the side that
yeah,
they just handed. Okay.
yeah, yeah. So you have to leave the country or find some creative way because if you don't even get the experience working as an engineer trainee, you can't become an engineer anyway.
Yeah.
So you can't find a job. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah. You got
Right?
you got to immigrate. You got to move,
Yeah, you gotta
right?
leave.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so then you came to Canada. You started studying Centennial. Then where did
yeah.
that path take you after that?
So some amazing things happened during my time working at Centennial. So during the summer periods, I would work more often. So one of
Okay.
those companies that hired me, I can't recall the name of the company right now, but it was a solar panel installation company. And throughout that summer, I did solar panel installation with my own hands on these hot roofs. Listen, before I came to Canada, I did not know I could get a tan. It was when I came here, I got my first tan working on those roofs in the sun. I was like, whoa, what the hell is this? Because the sun in Jamaica doesn't really tan you.
No,
Really
no,
here,
it's the humidity here. It's a different kind of
it's
humidity.
different,
And
right?
you want to know something funny? I only found this out like I'm married to a white girl, right? But one of my clients, she's white, and she always she supplements with vitamin D, and so we're talking because I'm in fitness, so we're talking about nutrition that day, and then she's like, "Oh, you probably take a lot of vitamin D." I'm like, "Well, no, not really," and she's like, "Why not?" I'm like, well, I'm outside in the sun all the time. She's like, colored people don't absorb vitamin D as well as white people. I'm like, holy
We do
shit. I looked it up and it's fucking true. I'm like, holy jeez. We don't. It's a fact.
we don't absorb it.
As well as lighter
Yeah.
skinned people.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
But
you're
we
probably,
yeah, so like coming to this country, I didn't realize I could get a tan, but I
yeah.
got that tan.
Oh, yeah.
But the good thing about the place that I was working at, I got some contacts. I worked really well with the people there. And before I graduated, something amazing happened. One of the managers that I was working with called me. He says he's been trying to find me for months.
Okay.
Called me a few days before I graduated and said, I have a job for you. So on the day that I graduated is the day that I started working as a trainee engineer.
Oh, nice.
Same day.
Same day. Same
so, I,
day. That's,
so I moved from school straight into an
straight.
engineering consulting firm.
That's a blessing right there, right?
Yes,
So,
right. So I don't know if you know how the immigration process works, but
no,
after you graduate,
I
you
was
have to
born.
work.
I was
Yeah,
born here, so I have no clue how that shit. That
yeah.
shit.
So after you graduate, you have to work for 1 full year straight in a full-time job. So they call it a knock level job, an NOC level job,
Okay.
right? So because I'm working in an engineering environment, I could work that 1 full year and then apply for a permanent residency. So I
Okay.
worked there, for the first time in my life, was able to work um, under an engineer,
Yeah.
right?
At the thing you trained for and the thing you
Yes,
wanted to do. Yeah.
yes. So I got the skills, I got the talent, I got the knowledge, right? It was great. So after that year, I could apply for a permanent residency. But then I moved on to another job, which I'm still in right now, and that's a job that I'm not gonna say.
Yeah. Yeah. No, don't say. Keep that
I
under
can't
the.
say,
Yeah.
yeah, right? And I have my business in the background working on it's called Baby Crest. One of them
Yeah.
is called Baby Crest. But I started my business like maybe a couple months, or no, maybe a year before the pandemic hit. And I
Okay.
was building and building, and
Yeah.
everything was kind of going great until Doug Ford decided that we should all stay home.
Yeah.
Because what I did was I was moving from location to location at pop-ups and
Yeah.
selling my products.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
But then the pandemic hit, everything went down the drain.
So you would be doing like different kind of vendor
Yes,
kind of things. So at different events,
yes,
pay whatever fee, be a vendor, and
yeah.
then and get your product and your brand out that way.
That's what I was doing,
Yeah.
right? So
W-
because of the pandemic, not because of the pandemic, because of what Doug Ford did, his
Yeah.
lockdown policies, shutting down the economy, that kind of destroyed everything,
Okay.
right? So right now I'm in the process of rebuilding that.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think that many Canadians are doing that too. Now, in that process, you actually became a full citizen. So congratulations on that.
Yes, a couple
And
weeks ago. Yeah.
congratulations on that and to your
Thanks.
family. We're blessed to have you here right now. And well, we'll reconsider that in like 2 years. We'll see what
Yeah.
happens. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But so one of the interesting things is like knowing that your background, knowing how you got here and your struggles to get here and to be in the position you are in now. It's kind of different for somebody like me who's grown up in Canada, and I've kind of seen stuff, but I haven't seen it on your scale where you come from another country, you immigrate here, you put yourself through all that, and now you're seeing this shift of culture. The thing that you guys motivated you to come here for is not the same that when you
Yeah.
got here, right? And I think that that's when people online are talking back to you and saying shit, they don't really understand that I've been to Jamaica. I've seen some of parts of Jamaica. Like people here wouldn't survive in
Mhm.
that atmosphere. And then for you to come here and make that decision to move you and your family
Yeah.
here to get a job and then to see things deteriorate rather quickly,
Yeah.
right?
And there are some places in Jamaica that I couldn't survive.
Exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you that straight up,
Yeah.
right? I don't know how some people do it. I don't know, right?
Yeah.
So it does get tough there, right?
Yeah.
So I left Jamaica looking for security,
Yeah.
peace of mind, opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and the opportunity is still there, but I sought a different kind of opportunity after I got settled into this country and
Yeah.
after I learned from the people here. I learned that I could do more. And
Yeah.
in trying to do more, Doug Ford said,
No.
no, not right now, right?
Yeah.
Shut everything down, right? Um, and the security and peace of mind aspect of it is that government stays out of your business.
Yeah.
I really like that about Canada up until 2020. Government just leaves you alone,
Yeah.
mostly, right?
Well,
The only thing they do here is just tax the hell out of you.
Well, this transition was happening as soon as Trudeau got into office. Like
Yeah,
I think people are fooled that this is like it just started happening when no these policies and this change and shift in culture
yeah,
was a slow thing that he started. It's like when I speak to some people that some of my friends in the U.S. and they talk, oh, we're gonna end up in a socialist. I'm like, well, Canada's been in it for 8 years, right?
yeah.
We've been in it a lot longer. It's just it took us a long time to see the results of those kind of things. Now, when you came here, I kind of want you to paint a picture. Like, what was the biggest glaring difference socially, like within social like aspects of Canadian life between when you came here to now? Like, what's the biggest difference that you see between like the attitude of Canadian people?
Uh, I think the biggest difference was just people leaving each other alone.
Yeah,
I think that was it. Like you could just be yourself and just be left alone, right? In most aspects,
yeah,
right? I think that's the thing that I appreciated most when I first came to Canada. Um, so this is something you wouldn't understand. So when you live in Jamaica, you have to have a sixth sense, and that sixth sense is um protecting yourself,
hmm
right?
yeah,
Protecting your life and protecting your property. So
yeah,
you have to have that sixth sense. So there was a time when I was walking to my father's grocery store in Kingston, and I heard the sound of a bike coming really close to me, and just hearing that sound, I went like this, and then I felt a hand run all the way over my back, trying to get the gold chain from around my
oh,
neck.
jeez, yeah,
So when I came here to Canada, um, the same thing kind of followed me. The same sixth sense kind of followed me.
Yeah.
So I would be walking, and there would be a bicycle riding too close to me, right?
Yeah.
And then I would get the sensation to do like this and do like this.
Yeah. Create your space. Yeah. Yeah.
Not no, not create my space. Get the person off the
Get
bike.
the person.
that that is that is like that is the sixth sense, right?
Yeah.
Somebody comes too close to you, you're ready to defend yourself or attack.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it took me a while to get out of that state.
Yeah. Like I'm always in that state because I'm a fighter, right?
Yeah,
So like and I'm a martial artist first, fighter second.
yeah,
But like that's always on my mind. Like whenever I'm out, I'm always measuring distance. I'm saying, okay, is this person in my personal space too much? I'm always doing that, like so I understand what you mean by like a sixth sense. I didn't grow up in the same conditions as you,
mhm,
but over time as a martial artist, I understood the level of violence that can be out there in society and
yeah,
the random things that can happen and that simple things that you do to protect yourself, right?
yes, yes,
Protect yourself. Um, like for example, I'm not going to tell which pocket, but I always have keys, wallet in the same pocket. I know where things are at all times. So if someone
yeah,
comes close to my wallet side, I'm on guard. If someone
yeah,
comes close to my keys side, I'm like, okay, I could lose my keys. That's not a big deal. But
yeah. I joke with my wife all the time, and I tell her that I'm not supposed to be alive right now
yeah,
because all of the things that I went through while living in Jamaica, like the Canadian audience right now listening wouldn't believe.
yeah. No, I don't think they would. We live a safe life here.
Yeah,
Despite all the things that have gone on over the last 3 years, it's hard
mhm,
like I'm proud to be a Canadian. I'm happy and I'm privileged to live here, and I'm
yeah,
glad that I was born and raised here. And then my parents came from Guyana and immigrated here, and I'm glad that they did.
yeah,
Uh, uh, but at the same time, you know, it's not the same Canada I grew up with, and it's not the same
yeah.
Canada you came here with.
Definitely not.
And now when we're going back to like when you said "Will people leave you alone," and I agree with that statement completely because one of the biggest things that I've noticed over the last 3 years since this kind of shift and this started is everybody has an opinion on how you should live your life and how you should run your life,
Yeah,
what you should do, what you should wear, how you should wear it, where you should go, what you should
mhm,
post, what's not allowed to be posted. Like the fact that, you can't even be proud of your employer anymore because if you say something, they're gonna find it on social media and fire you. These are
yeah,
all these are all things like 3 or 4 years ago. If you told me, I would have been like, nah, you're stupid. It's a conspiracy theory.
yeah.
But
Right.
it's
Mhm.
all come true.
Because over the last couple of years, last 3 or 4 years or so, I've been noticing a huge shift. So I don't know. You probably see me speak about it. The
Yeah.
fake liberals. I call them the fake liberals because they're not real liberals.
No, no.
Liberals
Yeah.
believe in freedom. They believe in giving you your space. These guys aren't liberals. They're fake liberals.
Yeah.
These guys are Marxists. That's what they are.
Yeah.
So I noticed that people with your skin tone and my skin tone, we can't have an opinion opposite to theirs. And if we do, then we are Uncle Tom. We're
Racist.
um, we're racist somehow.
Yeah.
We're our internal racism. That's what they call it,
Yeah.
right? We're supporting white supremacists. We're far. So the other day I see them calling Myra a congressional. I think she was appointed to U.S. Congress or a Senate or something like that. You were
Yeah.
calling her far right Latina. That's what they were calling her,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, and then Nancy Pelosi elbows her child. Like if that was me,
Yeah.
yeah, I would have been up on stage throwing some fucking
Right.
haymakers at Pelosi.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, um, they have the claim to say that we're tokens of the right, but this whole entire time, people of color were tokens of the far left.
Yeah, yeah,
You don't see it that way, but it's true. Tokens of the far left. Look at who's speaking out the most right now about um um the the social justice environment, the social justice warriors. Who are they? Are they people of color?
no,
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 they are the white fake liberals. They're the
yeah,
ones who are more vocal than you and I.
Yeah.
about our own issues. It's as if they don't realize that, like, we can deal with our own issues. Like, we don't need your help.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need your help to think. I
And
don't need.
sorry,
Yeah.
and the people of color that are the ones that are speaking out on the liberal side, it's a very small amount of people. It's a very like they're the fringe minority. It's a very
Yes.
small amount of people that are the ones that are speaking out that on the far left that are of color. Because to be honest, like I'm married into a white family. I don't see white supremacy. I don't see any of that stuff. To me, that is fake language bullshit
Yeah.
because I say this all the time. People don't know what my wife's parents went through to
Mm-hmm.
to become what they are today and to do what they are
Yeah.
today. Like my wife's dad is a pastor. He's a man of God, and
Mm-hmm.
he went through a lot of struggles together. There was no privilege in that
Yeah.
whatsoever. I don't believe in that terminology. I don't believe in that. Of course, all walks of life, everybody has some sort of luck, right?
Yeah. See, just as how you can't put all black people in the same category, you
Yeah,
can't put all white people in the same category.
exactly.
Not all white people come from the same place or have the same experience. You're from Guyana.
Yeah,
I'm from Jamaica. Our experiences are, sorry, your parents are from Guyana and
yeah,
I'm from Jamaica. Our experiences are going to be totally different.
different. Yeah,
We have white people from Eastern Europe who experienced communism, who
yeah,
experienced
racism.
fascism and racism, and their ancestors also experienced slavery.
Yeah,
There are
and like
many Eastern Europeans whose ancestors experienced slavery. So to say to them that they have this imaginary privilege, they don't know what it means to struggle, they don't know what it means to move from country to country looking for a good life. It's ridiculous. It's
it's
this
ridiculous.
Marxist ideology that they have where they want to paint one group as evil and the other group as
Yeah,
good.
yeah, and like to even put that in a greater perspective, like my wife's family is part Irish. Like the Irish people were slaves. Like
Yeah.
it's easy history. You can just
Yeah.
you can read a book and find that out. So slavery comes in all forms of fashion, but that's in the past, right? And I think one of the biggest flaws of Canada right now is we suffer from this presentism where we try to punish people of the past
Mm-hmm.
or we take people of the past and punish people of today for sins of people of the past. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like you can't like I'll let's use the Ryerson University for an example, right? The Ryerson, whatever, he might have been a piece of shit. He might have been a slave owner, like whatever the case.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that white people of today are pieces of shits and slave owners and all that.
Mm-hmm.
That is in the past. So instead of learning from the past, we're trying to erase history. And when you erase history, history will repeat itself because you don't learn from it, right?
So here's the thing with that. It's not entirely the people's fault. And let me tell you why.
Okay.
Politicians, whether it's conservatives, liberals, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Politicians have a tendency to use race, religion, ethnicity, culture, gender, sexuality as political weapons, as
Yeah.
political
Because
tools.
it's easy. It gets under the
Right?
skin really easy. It gets
Yeah.
people agitated really
So
easy.
they use it, they use it to get votes,
Yeah.
right? It's capital, it's like currency to them. It's
Yeah.
currency.
It's
It's
kindling to the fire. Yeah.
yeah, it's political currency, right? So they use that, they divide society, put one group against the next, and pretend as if they care. So it's up to the people to recognize that you're simply being used by these politicians, and you must stop allowing them to use you.
Yeah.
Right? Stop allowing them to use you in that manner. Stop allowing them to use the color of your skin to demonize somebody else.
Yeah.
Like this critical race theory thing that they have in school. Why is it important to teach white kids to hate themselves and teach black kids to be victims? Why
Yeah.
is that important? Why can't we listen? I know what the solution is, right?
Yeah.
But for some reason, all right, yeah, I
No,
get heat when I talk
no,
about this.
just go, man. Just go.
Yeah,
We're having fun. Have fun.
I know what the solution is. The solution is to uplift communities. The
Yeah.
solution, you know who Marcus Garvey is?
I'm familiar with the name, but
Yeah, Marcus Garvey is one of Jamaica's national heroes. He's the one that went to the US and sparked the civil rights movement.
okay, yes, yes, now I remember. Yeah.
Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, all of them came from him,
Yeah.
right? Marcus Garvey was a proponent of capitalism, of free market capitalism,
Yeah.
and he believed that the black man can rise up and be a competitor and be equals with the white man if if he or she becomes productive in society, have their own businesses, have their own banks, have their own schools, right?
Yeah.
Develop their own economy.
Yeah.
So right here in Canada, how we uplift the black community is by teaching the black community economics, teaching them how to
Yeah.
start businesses, right?
Yes.
Teaching
And
them how to be good fathers, good mothers, raise families. That's how you do it. You don't do it by teaching them that they are victims of systematic racism
yeah.
or victims of this. Or you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand
Yeah.
completely, and I'll even relate it to an easier example for anyone listening. Is like, okay, so in Canada they do this. Uh, I call it bullshit. I agree with the movement. I don't agree with the strategy, like the bullying thing, right? So what they do is they put on pink shirts. They all put on pink shirts and like, oh, let's stop fucking bullying. Like, bullying is
Yeah.
bad. So let me tell you something. I'm a martial artist, okay? Pink shirts don't stop someone from beating the shit out of you,
Hmm.
right? Activism doesn't stop someone from beating the shit out of you. You know what stops somebody from beating the shit out of you?
Being able to defend yourself.
Being able to defend yourself, empowering yourself, giving yourself the tools, and
Yeah.
stop being a victim, right? People who get bullied, and I hate to say this, are often people who let themselves get bullied,
It's
right?
true.
When I grew up, I got bullied because, and I'm not, this is not critical of my parents, they didn't know any better, but they taught me to kind of succumb to the bully and just, and get the teacher or whatever. That's not how you stop it. You stop it by empowering yourself, by stop, like you
Yes.
said, stop being a victim, right? So how, and when we take that same example and we translate it to what we're talking about now, is, well, how do you stop people of color from being victim? Well, you empower them with education.
Yeah.
You teach them, like I read something, or I listened to a video the other day. It was one of the black leader in the black community. He was saying that um, African Americans spent $2 billion on Air Jordans last year.
Mhm.
$2 billion on Air Jordans, something they don't need. Instead, we could have educated them instead of buying that shoe
Mhm.
and making someone else rich for a friggin' shoe that a lot of people don't even wear because it's some
But
collector's item. You could have,
Ashton,
yeah, tell me,
let me tell you something though. In 2019 is when I had my own great awakening. I'm gonna show you something.
yeah,
2018, um, when my son was born, I walked into a bookstore and I saw a book. I'm like, oh, I remember this book. Like in 2005, before I graduated high school, somebody told me I need to buy this book, but I never bought it. And then I saw it in the store in 2018. I said, you know what? It's time for me to buy this book and read
yeah,
it.
yep, there you go.
Rich Dad Poor Dad. I read that book and I had a mini awakening.
Yeah,
One of the part that stuck out to me was that the government and governments, the US government, Canadian government, Jamaican government, all over the world
yeah,
has their own securities commission, right?
okay, yeah, yeah,
Where these securities commissions say that you can't invest in certain businesses unless you are a, what do they call it? What do they call that investor? A
uh,
parent,
no, we're a retail investor.
no, accredited investor
Okay, yeah,
where you are worth $1 million or more. You have to be
yeah,
an accredited investor to invest in certain
yeah, in Canada, in North America, they call it institutional investor.
yeah,
Yeah,
right. So you have to be that investor to invest in certain businesses, right? So for example, a rich wealthy person can't come to a poor man like me and say, hey, I have this business here, I want you to invest in it. It's
yeah,
illegal. You
yeah,
can't do it.
yeah, yeah.
You can't do it. So the system has these laws built in that claim that it's protecting people, but what it's doing is holding people back.
Yep. And
Right? So you see that $2 billion that the black community spent, right? This community could be investing their money in
exactly.
startups.
That's exactly what I was bringing it back around to. And even to take that further, because I invest a lot of money too, right? And one of the things that, like, there's pre-market and post-market trading, right? So pre-market and post-market is fancy terms for rich people trading, right? I'm not allowed to trade during those hours unless I have a certain type of account with a certain amount of money into it. So
Ridiculous.
they can manipulate. So after hours, a company will report their earnings and it would be bad and the stock will drop 20%. I can't do a goddamn thing about it until the next day because I'm a retail investor
Mhm.
and I don't have a certain amount of money. So when the market opens, I am screwed because the rich people decided to sell. All right?
Yeah, the stock market is a whole scam because
Yeah.
by the time that company goes public, the rich folks already made their
They
money.
already made their money off the IPO. The IPO. Yeah.
Right? And then when you invest in your little stocks now, you're making more money,
Yeah.
right?
Like,
It's a pyramid scheme.
well, yeah, you can make money on it. You got to be smart. You got to
Yeah,
study.
you can.
You got to be smart and study.
Yeah.
If you buy a company that just IPO'd in 6 months, you better be ready to sell because there's a time limit when those guys can sell, right? So when
Yeah.
they take a company public, so if that stock goes up significantly in 6 months, sell that shit because they're about to dump their shares and take their money.
Mhm. Yeah.
But but like you were saying, that's how we empower those kind of communities. But that's not what they want to talk to you about. That's not what they want to do in the schools, and that's not what and so that's why like my daughter is 4 years old. I already opened up accounts for her. I'm already teaching her how to invest. She's only four. She doesn't understand. She doesn't.
Yeah.
But I'm putting those seeds into her head that when you're 16, 17, 18 and you're looking to move on to the next phase of your life and you're thinking about what to do, where when I grew up it was, you go to school, you graduate high school, you get a degree,
Yeah.
you go to university, after university you get a job and you
It's
work.
all rubbish.
It's all this
All rubbish.
it was always laid out to me as this system, right?
Yeah.
A system of how you should live your life.
Mhm. And
And
save your money, put it into the bank.
yeah,
Rubbish.
rubbish. And
Right.
so and I'm like the deviant in my family, and because I followed zero of that friggin' path. I did go to university, but when I finished university, I'm like, yo, man, I want to fight. So I started training as a fighter,
Mhm.
and then you know about 5 or 6 years ago, I was like, I wanted to work in fitness, and that's a tough business, right? And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it myself. I'm gonna be an
Mhm.
entrepreneur. I'm gonna work, and it was tough. And then going into COVID was actually for fitness industry for some people. The way my business is structured is a blessing. I was able to
Yeah.
keep operating into the lockdowns and all that, but I didn't follow the blueprint. And like you said, the blueprint is save your money, put it in a bank.
Yeah.
Well, it was like 2 years ago I figured out, my when you get a paycheck and it goes straight to the bank. I tell this to some of the young guys that I train and I train with now. I'm like, when you get a paycheck and it goes into the bank, do you ever see your money? And they're like, "What do you mean?" And they're like,
Gone.
"Yeah."
You
They're like, "It's on the screen." So
Yeah.
like, if I go, it says I have X thousand amounts of dollars. I'm like, "No, that's a number on a screen."
Mhm.
When they give you a check, especially if it's direct deposit, which most companies do now, you work for so long, you actually never physically get to hold your money. And it's never physically in your possession. It's just a number on the screen. The minute it goes to the bank is spending it.
Yeah.
When it's in a bank vault, that's a liability for the bank. So what they do is they go and lend that money out to somebody else and
Yeah.
put an interest rate on it. They send another portion of your money to their capital investing. They invest in stocks, they
Yeah.
invest in foreign exchange. Your money's never there. It's just a number on the screen. So if the system collapses, there goes all your money.
And the thing is, it's not even money.
It's not even money.
It's not
No.
money. It's not real money, right? It's all fake. It's fiat currency. It's not money.
Yeah. And it's even worth less now
Mhm.
after this last three
Yeah.
years.
I wanna go back to something that we were talking about, systematic racism.
Yeah.
I don't think systematic racism exists anymore.
Neither do
I
I.
think I think it's just systematic oppression,
Yeah.
because white people, black people, indigenous people, everybody is being oppressed by this system. It's systematic oppression, and I'm gonna tell you why, because
Yeah.
it connects to everything. We talked about bullying, right?
Yeah.
This past 2 years of the COVID-19 pandemic has seen the greatest bullying I have seen in my entire life. The
Yeah.
federal government, the provincial government bullying their own citizens,
Yeah.
right? So what happened was that they said, hey, if you don't take this vaccine, you're going to lose your job.
Yeah.
You won't be able to fly. You won't be able to go on a train. You won't be able to cross the border. You won't be able to go into a restaurant. You won't be able to, at one point you can go to a park with your
No,
kid.
I put out a video on this. I almost got like into a fight with a bylaw at a
Mhm.
park because me and my buddy were hitting pads. Like we wanted to like do some pad work, do some
Yeah,
boxing, and they're like, "Duh, it's not 6 feet." And I'm like, I was starting raging, man. I'm like, "Yo,
yeah.
I just want to punch, man. Just leave me alone."
So here's the thing. The majority of the people who survived or got through this bullying with ease without having to be forced to take the vaccine are who?
Yeah,
Can you guess? Who are the people?
people who are independent free thinkers.
Yes. So entrepreneurs, people who own their own businesses,
Yeah,
the wealthier people who can say, hey, I'm not taking this.
yeah.
But jump on a plane and go into Mexico to live out the rest of your life. Or,
Yeah,
your bills are all paid, you don't have no
yeah,
mortgage, you're just chilling, looking at the government and say, hey, come and try to get me to take this
yeah,
vaccine because you don't really have anything to lose. And it's the same thing with Jamaica, actually. And
yeah,
this is the opposite side of the spectrum. And it's funny. The reason why the government couldn't get a majority of Jamaicans to be vaccinated is because the majority is poor.
yeah.
The
That's
thing
weird. That's
is,
weird.
yeah, it's weird
Yeah,
because what happens is that the majority that's poor, like they live on farms or they live in their own homes. So yeah, they're paying a little rent and stuff, but they have their own little small businesses.
yeah.
Jamaica has more entrepreneurs than Canada.
Yeah, because the farmers and the small farmers and the farming communities
Yeah,
can essentially provide for themselves without the government. They can eat.
yeah, they can eat.
We can't eat here unless you go to the grocery store.
Precisely. You can see a tree and climb on that tree and grab a mango and eat that.
Yeah,
You're good.
exactly. Yeah. Can't do
Right?
that here. You
You
can't do
can't do
that.
that here.
Yeah.
Right? Right? So in Jamaica it's opposite, right? The poorer folks could resist,
Yeah.
right? Because they have the little corner shops or the little stalls that they can sell and make money, and the government has no control over it because the government doesn't even know their business exists,
Yeah.
right? So
And
they're fine.
the only way
Here,
for them to
here,
stop it is to burn the whole freaking the thing down. And that's
precisely,
yeah.
right? So here now in Canada, the people who are most affected are people who are tied into the system,
Yeah.
where you work at these banks, you work at these government businesses, or you work with companies that have contracts with government, then you're screwed.
You're, and I can't tell like I want to say this. I think I said it before, but I can't tell everybody how many times I've had grown ass men who are my friends for years, crying to me, saying they didn't want to take this, but they had to because if they didn't, they would lose their job and their family needs them to provide for them right now.
Yeah,
And they were forced to do it. And I, I could, I was in a different position where nobody's forcing me to do. I can do whatever the hell I want, right? I run my own
yeah,
business. I'm good. So I couldn't feel their pain, but I felt their pain. And but the only thing I could say to them is, you're a grown man and you have to look at yourself in the mirror every day. Do what you think is best for you and your family. And
yeah,
most of them, almost all of them took it, right? Because when they looked in the mirror, they're like, well, this is what I have to do to provide for my family. Now, the sad thing about that is that we're putting people's health at risk with that
yeah,
because no, like I can understand the big push at the start, let's everybody get vaccinated, whatever. But as time went on and we realized they weren't as effective as they said they were, there were more side effects and conditions than advertised. As time went on, they kept making that push, and people started realizing that a little bit. And they're like, man, I don't know if I want to do that, but I
yeah,
have to do that. And to put somebody in that position, if you're a CEO, if you're a business owner, and you put somebody in that position because of your own beliefs or whatever the hell you believe at your house, to put somebody else in that position to may have to make that decision that with something that could potentially hurt them more than help them, you're a piece of shit. I'm just gonna say
yeah.
it. You're a piece of
You're
shit.
evil.
You're
You're
evil. You're a
evil.
piece of shit. And and that's a lot of people. That's a lot of companies. And some people are gonna listen to this and I'm gonna say you're a piece of shit for doing that.
Yeah,
You can redeem yourself. You can redeem yourself, but you're a piece of shit. Like
yeah.
for even putting other human beings in that position and then to go back and say, it's for the best of everybody. No, that wasn't for the
No,
best of everybody.
yeah. Listen, I'm somebody like this. if a new iPhone comes out, I'm not buying it. I'm waiting to see how many pockets it explodes in
Yeah.
before I go get it.
Yeah.
So when the vaccine first came out, of course I'm not going to take it because it's a new product, right? It's a product. That's what it is,
Yeah.
right? It's not some miracle drug that's made of water.
Yeah. No, let's face
It's
let's
a
tell
product.
let's they're gonna Spotify will put the little warning label. It's a fucking experimental
Yeah,
drug. Let's just
right?
yeah.
It's a product. It's a new product that came on the market. And they say, hey, we're rolling this out to select groups. I'm not gonna take it. I've gotten calls before from pharmaceutical companies say, hey, do you want to do a trial? We pay you $500. I'm like, nope,
Yeah. Nope.
I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Right? I can make $500 another way. I am not interested in using my body as your test subject.
Yeah.
So why on earth would I do the same with the COVID-19 vaccine?
Yeah. Exactly. No, I agree
Why?
with you 100%. 100%.
Right? It didn't make sense. So when it came out, of course, I didn't take it. But then the real push started in maybe February, March of 2021,
Yeah.
where they were start pushing it on people. And I'm like, something strange is going on here. You want to give me ice cream so I can take your vaccine? You,
Yeah.
you want to give me you
You
want to
want to
give me a
put
gun, a land, a lotto ticket, like
a burger,
a burger?
dress up as Superman so that I take it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Jamaica, they were giving poor people 10,000 Jamaican dollars to take a vaccine, and they were giving them KFC.
Yeah.
The fuck? This is the first time I'm cursing on your show since you started.
You can do it.
What the fuck?
Here's a shot, and here's some chicken.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna take a experimental product for a piece of chicken and 10,000 Jamaican dollars is what, 100 Canadian dollars?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Right? So it was clear that something was wrong, something strange. They never did this with the flu vaccine. I haven't taken a flu vaccine in God knows when. I
Yeah,
don't remember. I
I
don't
think
remember the last.
I think I did it once or twice when I was younger, and that's about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't even remember what vaccines I have.
Yeah.
I don't know what my vaccination card looks like. I don't know where it is.
Yeah.
So there's some people who say that, this is not new. You always have to be vaccinated to travel. I have never had to be vaccinated to go anywhere.
No, I've never been asked. I've never been asked anywhere in my
I
life.
don't know where my vaccination card is.
Yeah, no, I've never traveled with it. I'm sure I have it somewhere in my files, but
Yeah.
when I'm getting ready to get on a plane and go, I got my passport, I got my ID if I need it, I got some money, we're good to go. We got travel insurance maybe. That's about it.
And
Yeah,
if a country requires me to take a vaccine to come into their country, I'm just not gonna go.
yeah, exactly. Simple as that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, sure, the country is within their rights to mandate. If the country says that you have to enter our country naked, it's your decision to enter their country naked.
I,
That's
I,
their rules,
Depending on if it's Spain, I might do that. Yeah, they got that's a good.
right? So,
Yeah,
right, so I can choose whether or not I'm going to enter your country naked,
yeah,
right, or stay the hell home,
yeah, yeah. It's
right?
your
So
choice, right?
it's not an excuse for this country banning people from going on a plane or a train to leave. I'm a dual Jamaican Canadian citizen. At the time when the ban came in, I was only a Jamaican citizen and a permanent resident.
Yeah,
Like, there is no good excuse to say, Devon, you can't leave Canada to go to Jamaica.
yeah.
No good excuse, because Jamaica can't prevent me from coming in. I was hoping that they did, so I could launch a lawsuit against the government and get rich.
Yeah.
I was hoping, I was saying,
Yeah.
please ban me from coming into the country so I can find me a lawyer and
Get some money, get some
um,
money. Yeah,
I was prepared, right?
yeah.
But that didn't happen because it couldn't, because it's unconstitutional.
No, yeah. And now you were at the in Ottawa during February, right? You went
Yeah.
to yeah. Now this is this is one that pisses me off a lot. I'm gonna try not to get mad.
Mhm.
That it was such the most. This was the most. I'm trying to find the right word, but disappointed. This is the most disappointed I've ever been
Mhm.
in Canadian media, Canadian corporations, Canadian public in general.
Mhm.
Because for the first time in 2+ years, it was the first time I felt some hope. It was the first time I felt spirit. It was the first time I felt Canadian spirit again. Like it just so happened that the day they were driving through the GTA, I had to go to Pickering to see one of my clients, and I just happened to be driving at the front of the convoy where they had the big ship one on the freaking thing, and I was like
Mhm.
friggin' I it was one of the most days in 2 years I was full of glee and happiness,
Yeah.
right? And it was unfortunate while it was happening. I was working on the weekends, so I couldn't get down there. But I did see real footage, not the fake footage that
Mhm.
the news put out, the real footage and what really happened and how
Yeah.
peaceful it was and how amazing it was and how what it when history is written, when history will be written about this, it will probably be one of the most significant moments in Canadian history.
It needs a
And
holiday.
yeah, and you were there for that, and I want you to describe as a black person
Mhm.
that was there, which was what they were trying to portray was you people like you weren't there,
Yeah.
right? It was only a white
So first,
fringe. I want you to describe to me your experience there, what it was like as a colored person there with other colored people, because I damn well know there
yeah.
was, what it was like there.
So first of all, I want to say this. My two kids, my son Elias and Aiden, and my
Yeah,
wife, they are before Freedom Convoy, they were my connection to Canada. That's all I have here. My
yeah,
wife and my two kids. They're my connection to Canada, right? I could have decided that, hey, I'm gonna pack up and leave Canada, go back to Jamaica or wherever it is, because I didn't really have a connection here other than them.
yeah,
But Freedom Convoy happened. And I'm gonna tell this to you straight up to your listeners right
yeah.
now. Listen to what I'm saying right now. When Freedom Convoy happened, I gained a new family.
There you go.
These people grounded me in Canada, right? These people gave me a reason to stay here.
Yeah,
These people are now my additional connection to this country. When I was in Ottawa, I didn't feel like a black man.
yeah. You felt like a Canadian.
I felt like a can listen. When I was talking to these people, these people other than my family are the only people that have made me feel like a Canadian before I became a Canadian.
Yeah,
They said to me, Devon, you are more Canadian than most Canadian people I had known. This was before I became a Canadian. It was before I even went to Freedom Convoy. I released a set of video. I can
yeah,
send them to you. It's in my story still.
yeah, yeah,
And I was talking about what's going on. I was connecting with other people's pain because they were seeing my pain because I was in a depressed state,
yeah,
a very depressed state. I was like, how can this be happening? How can Canadians be wishing for their fellow Canadians to die because they didn't take a vaccine? How can you be wishing for me to lose my children? How
yeah,
can you be wishing for me to lose my job? What is wrong with you?
yeah,
What the hell is wrong with you? What kind of demon crawled up in your ass and went into your mind, went
yeah,
into your heart? Where
yeah,
did the demon come from? And people connected with that, with what I was saying. And I said to the people, I am going to Freedom Convoy because I'm going to stand up for my freedom. I'm going to stand up for my children's future. I'm going to stand up for the Canadian children. I'm going to stand up for the Jamaican children because I believe that what's happening here is also connected in Jamaica. Just taking a stand here in Canada means that I'm taking a stand for Jamaica as well.
yeah,
When I went to Freedom Convoy, I I went with my family. I went with my wife and my two sons. So most people wouldn't see them on camera because they were in the hotel room most of
yeah,
the time,
yeah.
right? Because it was cold.
Well, it's a February in Canada. It's a cold, and it's
And
Ottawa too.
it was cold.
Yeah,
And for me, somebody like me that hates the cold, to go to Ottawa in that kind of weather, you must know that it's serious.
yeah,
I must have had a good reason, a good reason
yeah,
to leave my house in Barrie, drive 4 or 5 hours to Ottawa, to stand outside with video cameras in the cold, freezing my ass off.
yeah,
When I was there, the people that I saw, I didn't see no white people. I didn't see no
yeah.
Indian people.
No,
I didn't see no Asian people. I saw Canadians.
yeah,
And I'm quite sure that's how they saw me as well. They saw a Canadian walking around, conversing with them. That's what they saw,
Yeah.
right? The, I got more hugs at Freedom Convoy in one day than I've got in my entire life.
There
I
you go.
hugged more people in my entire life. I see, and the thing, and this is what people don't understand. We spoke about the fact that white people come from a diverse background.
Yeah.
A lot of Eastern Europeans were at the Freedom Convoy. And I
Absolutely. Yeah.
know this because I've spoken to them.
Yeah.
I met a family from Russia. They still had that strong Russian accent,
Yeah.
right? And I don't know if you saw this picture when I was standing up in front of Trudeau's office.
Yeah. I think yeah, I saw that one. Yeah.
So you see that red hat that I was wearing?
Yeah.
I had another hat under it because it was so cold.
Yeah.
I went into a store to get warm and I bought another hat.
Yeah.
I had trouble putting the hat on, right? So this Russian lady, she was a grandma, she just came up to me and said, "Hey, here, let me help you." And she was there helping me putting my hat. It felt like what my mother was helping me.
Yeah.
Did I
Exactly.
see this lady as a white lady? No.
No. No.
Did she see me as a black man? No. We just saw each other as human beings.
And as somebody who like that's what Canadians are supposed to do, somebody who you're supposed to help.
Yeah.
When you see someone in need, somebody you're supposed to help. And I don't think this video got anywhere public, but I remember it, and I remember it was after they broke the fucking convoy up and all that stuff. One of the CBC reporters or CTV reporters, they got stuck. The car got stuck, and
Yeah.
who helped them out?
Freedom
Who helped
convoy.
the Freedom
So,
Convoy
yeah.
truckers, right?
Yeah.
And these are the same people you were labeling, the same people that they were vilifying in the media, the same people they were calling
Yeah.
misogynist, asshole. Those are the same people who helped you
Yeah. Yeah.
out of a bind.
And let me debunk some stuff right now.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead. Go
So
for it.
so they were saying that there were these Nazi flags and
Uh,
these swastikas all over the place.
yeah,
When I was there, I never saw one, not
no,
even one. Sure, I saw the picture and I saw the video.
yeah,
But in that video, the participants of the Freedom Convoy were clearly running that person away. They told him to get lost. They
yeah.
didn't want him there.
The guy in the
When I,
mask, right? The
the guy
guy
in the
in,
mask.
yeah,
Yeah. But when I was there, I saw no hate. I saw no racism. I saw no swastikas. I saw no sorry, sorry, what's the
yeah.
flag? The
Confederate flags.
Confederate flag. I saw
Yeah.
no Confederate flag.
No, those were
Right?
plants, and I'm 100% sure those plants. And the one swastika sign was taken out of context as well. It was the person was referring to our government as the
Yeah,
Germans. They weren't saying that they were there because they were Nazis. They were there
yeah.
because the sign, maybe
That
in
was a bad idea.
in retrospect, poor choice of
Yeah,
signage,
yeah,
but it was taken out of context. But as you said, it was used as political fire because that was a situation where Trudeau saw it as a prime opportunity to use race to
yeah.
split people up,
Yes.
and to use, oh, these people are racist because they
Yeah.
have a swastika.
So they made sure, so as to ensure that people of color didn't take the Freedom Convoy side, because a lot of people of color are vaccine hesitant,
Yeah,
right? And the Black Canadians represent high in the communities that are most vaccine hesitant, ranging around like 50%,
yeah,
that high, right? So to ensure that this set of people didn't join the Freedom Convoy, they had no choice but to paint the Freedom Convoy as a
that's
white supremacist, white nationalist, Nazi event,
yeah,
right? And in doing that, they censored the voice of people of color. They took away their choice.
yeah,
That's what they did. They took away their choice to decide whether or not to support this movement because they lied.
yeah. And from all the colored people I know, and I know a lot of damn colored people, every one of them was cheering them on. They're like, good.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing I love, and this is what I love being white, married into a white family. 'Cause, white people do a lot of crazy shit. I love white people for that.
Mhm.
Because sometimes colored people are like, hey, man, I don't agree, but I'm just going to
Yeah.
sit back. But white people are like, fuck it, let's go. And that's what I love about it. And that's what makes Canada the
Yeah.
best melting pot of people, because we got both sides there. And
And,
there's not one colored person I know. I know a lot of damn colored people that
and
they were all cheering them on.
and here's the other thing. Did you see my video that made it to Fox News?
Yeah, the one on Tucker, right? Tucker covered it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it goes to what you were saying just now. White people will get up and they just do what they need to do,
Yeah.
right? So I asked the question to people of color or the fake white liberals, where were you? Right?
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like where were you when I needed the support? If the people at the Freedom Convoy are racist or white supremacists, like you're labeling them, well, these people are the best racist white supremacists I've ever met. They're better than you.
Yeah. Where were you? Why were if they were so racist, why weren't you over there trying to stop them?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
right. They're better people than you. They have a better morality than you. They are better human beings than you. So what does that say about you? That's the question. If
Yeah.
these people are these horrible Nazi, white nationalists, white supremacists that want to kill all black people, yet they're the ones who stood up for us, what does that say about you?
Doesn't say much. But this is where we've kind of descended to as a country, so right, and we rather use what perception gives us and what social media gives us and what the news gives us than actually sit and talk to a person, right? And I don't know if you watched the interview I did with Melissa Lanceman. Sorry, I pronounce her name wrong all the time. Um,
Mm,
but she said it plain and simple. People in Ottawa, and when she was talking about that, she was referring to the government. They don't talk to people outside of Ottawa.
mhm,
So when leadership attitude reflects leadership, right? It's a good old saying that comes from football. You can find it in any sports movie. Attitude reflects leadership.
mhm.
And when leadership doesn't take the time to talk to its people, the people that they're supposed to represent, how do you think that trickles down? Well, it trickles down to this way: when things and tensions get risen and people have disagreements, instead of saying, there, "Hey, man, why are you so vexed? Tell me your side of the story. Tell me why, so I can understand." Instead of doing that, we quickly just go to the news. Oh, and we take that as a fact. And
Yeah.
that's what that person is about. And that person is a terrible person because they have an opposite point of view. Whereas, like, I don't hate any liberals. I don't hate any NDPers. I don't hate any people on the right. I don't hate any people on the left. I don't give a damn what you believe in. You're entitled to any political beliefs you want. You're entitled to do anything you want to do. You can believe whatever you want to. The only thing I ask is that you respect me as a person, and if I have a difference of opinion, we talk about it. And if we don't agree, we just agree to disagree. And that's what a
And leave, and leave
and
me
leave me alone. And
alone.
how do we solve the problem? Well, we vote. I vote for the person that I believe will solve the issues and do the things I want. You vote for a person. If your person wins, I might not be happy, but hey, that's the democratic process. I'll live with it for 4 years or however how
here's
long, and then we'll make another,
here's
just
here's the problem though. Canada has betrayed its citizens.
absolutely.
People felt betrayed because this is not what they signed up for.
Yeah,
They didn't sign up for their charter rights to be abused. And now people are realizing that the Charter of Rights is just a piece of paper. Doesn't mean anything,
no,
right? If the government can coerce you into taking an injection, and if you don't force you into a life of poverty, the Charter of Rights doesn't mean anything,
no,
right? So, in regards to voting in people, there was a time when it didn't matter. It didn't matter whether it's the liberals or the conservatives. It didn't matter. They just came and they did the same thing, but they largely left you alone.
yeah,
But now it's different. They're not leaving you alone. They're coming into your house.
yeah,
They're
exactly.
coming inside of your body. They're coming in. They're coming for your children.
Yeah,
Right.
they're
That's
coming for
where
your
they're going.
they're coming for your paycheck now, right?
Yeah,
And,
they're
and
coming for your property. They're coming for everything. Oh
yeah,
no, oh nothing and be happy. They're coming for everything. So the times are different right now. So you see what I want people to understand, and not just conservatives and not just liberals. I want everybody to understand that you can't have this die-hearted support for a political party just because it's called conservative or just because it's called liberal or
yeah,
NDP. Look at how the liberal has switched up. They're no longer liberals, they're Marxists,
no,
right?
yeah,
Well, Trudeau himself is a fascist. He's a fascist, right? Well, the followers of the Liberal Party, they're Marxists, right?
yeah,
That's what they are. right? The Conservative Party right now today are actually the real liberals.
Yeah, they're liberals, and
They're
the
the real liberals, right?
the funny thing is that sometimes people will label me as alt right or
Yeah,
whatever, and I'm like, when I actually sit and talk about and think about issues that are dear to me, I'm actually more of a libertarian than anything,
same
right?
here. I'm not conservative, I'm
I'm
libertarian.
yeah, I'm a libertarian. I am willing to talk to people about issues. I'm willing to see their side of it, and my thought and view on most things is that we should find a common ground most of the
Yeah,
time, and the only way to do that is talk about it. I don't think that you know the right way is the way to do it, or the left way is the way to do it. I think that we need to find more common ground. That's how I have always believed traditionally, and but, you know, if I want to be left alone now, it makes me alt right. If I just want to say, hey, I just want to run my business, pay my taxes, and you leave me the fuck alone. Then, oh, you're alt right.
yes,
If I want to run my business and pick on everything that you do, oh, you're far left. Like, we put these labels on things automatically now, when it never used to be like that. And the politicians have played that game really really well.
yeah.
They've done a great job at dividing. So anyone who is in the center now is the far right.
Yes,
Anyway, you know what I mean. I think Elon Musk put out a tweet where he put himself, is like, that's where he was. He was a liberal, but the right has the left has moved
yeah,
so far left. He's become right, right,
yes,
and
yes,
and um and they've played that game really really well. And we're entering a time in Canadian history where we're the most divided nation, and people would be like, "No, we're not. No, we're the fucking like we." I love the U.S. I'm a big fan of
mhm,
U.S. I'm a big fan of the United States. Me and my wife are working on ways that we can get down there a little bit and do business there and live there part time as well. Um, and as Canadians, as somebody growing up here, I've always heard Canadians talk shit about the Americans. Be like,
mhm,
Americans are so divided. They do this, they do that. And then when after the last 3 years, and I sit and I just sit and I think about it, I'm like, we're no better. We're no better.
yeah,
The only difference is we're not pulling out guns and shooting each other, but we're no better. We are no better. We're no different. We're the same, and we act violently just in a different way,
yeah,
right?
right? What the US has that this country doesn't has is real protections. Well, protection that Biden is trying to destroy right now, but
The
they have
Constitution.
yeah, they have real so Biden right now is trying to destroy the Supreme Court. He's trying to destroy the Constitution. They're trying to destroy the Republic. That's what they're
Yeah,
trying to do.
yeah.
Because if they destroy the Republic, then they
That
control
falls
the
down.
whole
Yeah.
yeah, they control the whole world. The only thing that's standing between their goals and taking our property and enslaving us is the US Republic. That's
Yeah.
the only thing that's stopping them.
Yeah.
Right? Well, let me ask you a question though. And it goes back to having a conversation with people. Have you ever seen a conversation or a debate between a white supremacist and a black person?
Like face to face or like through the internet?
That, like through the internet, like a debate, a stage set up?
No, not really. No, no,
No, no, right?
no,
Right?
no.
Why do you think that is?
Because if that was made public, they would make it so surprising that they could probably find a common ground somewhere.
Precisely. They don't want them to learn from each other. They don't want them to understand each other.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. White supremacists, I believe that they are being misled by certain groups, right? Like I'm not talking about the head honchos who really hate black people and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I believe that they're misled in some aspects, and in some aspects they have a point. And let me tell you why. Some white supremacists believe that there are black groups that plan to wipe out the white race.
Yeah.
It's true. It's not a lie. It's true.
Yeah.
There are black militant, black nationalist groups who want revenge against white people for slavery.
Yeah.
They exist, black
Well,
terrorists, right? So they
I would go on a limb and say BLM might be a little bit of part of that, maybe.
they exist, right?
Yeah.
It right. So they have a point there, right? But the problem is that conversations aren't taking place to diffuse the white supremacists and to diffuse the black supremacists.
Yeah.
They exist. So the fact that we don't see any conversations about this, it should tell you something. It should tell you that they don't want us
They
to
don't.
talk.
Yeah. They don't.
They don't.
No, the less talking citizens do to each other, the more they can control
Yeah.
everybody's way of thinking. And that's where like I wanted to lead into next is like what we're facing now is we have this weird jagmeet friggin' liberal coalition bullshit. I mean, I can go on and on about that, but that is what it is. But we have this conservative party that is going through this magnificent transition, I would call it, because
Mhm.
this could make or break Canada, in my opinion.
Yeah.
How this kind of pans out. Now we have a bunch of candidates. I know, like you are, a big follower of Roman Baber and support of his. There's Leslie Lewis. There's Sheree Polyev, and then Patrick Brown. I'm glad he's out.
Gone. Yeah.
Screw that.
Good riddance.
He's sleazy as fuck. Fuck
Yeah.
that guy.
And then Scott Aitchison.
I don't even know who the hell he is. He ain't gonna win shit. He ain't.
Yeah.
The fact that you just said that, I'm like, who the fuck is that guy? He's not gonna win.
He's Erin O'Toole light.
He's not
That's
gonna
what
win.
he is.
He ain't gonna win shit. Okay, so
Yeah.
in my eyes, there's three main candidates: Leslin, Baber, and Polyev. Sheree is a liberal. He's
Yeah.
banking.
Unfortunately, Sharia is a main candidate as well because he's trailing behind Pierre. Unfortunately.
He's not gonna win shit. If he wins, I'm out. If he wins,
Yeah. Yeah. If he wins, I am going straight to the PPC.
yeah. Well, I'll talk to you about something about that off air.
Yeah.
But the interesting part about this is that the main candidates there, they actually it's quite a diverse bunch, right? It's quite a diverse bunch on how you perceive things. Like for example, Leslie Lewis, she is appeals to the more the Christian. She's more on the Christian side. She's very
Yeah.
religion. She's very pro life. Her policies make a little bit more sense in some terms. But she's very soft spoken,
Mhm.
right? And I spoke about this with Melissa, but she kind of sidestepped the questions. Leslie checks all the boxes. Like if this was America, Black America would love that one. She's black, she's religious, she's a conservative. She checks all the boxes. Yet Canadians kind of don't even pay attention to that, right?
Yeah.
They're always like, we need women leaders. Well, here you have a women leader. We need black leaders. Well, here you have a black leader.
Mhm.
What's the problem, guys?
Mhm.
Well, isn't this what we wanted? You're begging for it for years.
Mhm.
Here she is.
Yeah.
But I find like she doesn't get the traction because that community doesn't really want that.
Yeah.
That they
Let me
say they want that, but they don't want that.
let me say something about that. About wanting a black leader. Coming from a country that is mostly black,
Yeah,
I I'm not gonna look at someone's skin
yeah.
and say
I don't either. I'm just referring to what
I know, but most people do, right? Like they look at Obama and say, "Oh, first
yeah,
black
first
president."
black person. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, right, right. Coming from where I'm coming from, Jamaica, I'm fully aware that black leaders have been enslaving their citizens for a very long time,
yeah.
right?
100%.
Right. So in Jamaica we say something. We don't trust blackface because behind that blackface, you have somebody working for the colonialists,
Yeah,
working for the corrupt world organizations, right?
yeah.
So I want to say to your viewers here, don't trust a face simply because the face is black or
Yeah.
white or
Or
Asian.
or
Look at
Mexican. Yeah,
look at what they're saying and look at what they're doing. So Leslie, for me, I like her. I do like her. I think she is a strong candidate and she can stand up for herself in the House of Commons. I really do think she can,
yeah,
right? Um, so one of the reasons why I think Canadians shy away from her is her pro-life stance.
yeah,
And I think people don't understand what she's saying. Leslie isn't saying that she's going to ban abortion. She's just saying that she wants to get to the root cause of
of
why
why.
women need abortion in the first place,
Yeah,
right? That's what she wants to tackle. So she wants to provide support for women, provide support for families, so that women don't feel like they need to get an abortion to have a life. Because that's one of the problems, and I shouldn't even be having this conversation because
yeah,
this conversation, I think, should be reserved for the women to speak about this. I'm gonna say, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna bring something up
Yeah,
with you after I'm done with this point
yeah,
about what the men should be talking about,
yeah,
right? And it's gonna be very controversial. So Leslie is coming from the point of view that throughout history, when women become pregnant and have children, is like their life is over, or they can't do the things that they love. They
yeah.
can't go to school. They can't go to work. So Leslie is saying, yo, like, let's fix that. Let's do something about that. Let's empower women. Let them know that you can have children
You
and you
can have a
can
life. You can have a career. You can do all these
get
things.
shoot to the stars. It's
Yeah.
possible. Let me tell you the conversation that men should be having. No, if women want to have abortion up to 9 months, let's say for argument's sake,
Well,
I, I don't I,
that's touchy for me, right
wait,
there.
I
Yeah,
wait, wait. I personally don't agree with having abortion up to nine
yeah,
months because
yeah,
that's barbaric,
yeah,
right. But let's say that in the US a state or in Canada here, they say, okay, we are going to allow abortions up to 9 months. I believe that men should be able to opt out of being the father of that child before that child is born.
yeah. And I
Yeah,
agree. I agree with you. And I like to avoid this conversation a little bit, not because my stance is my stance. I'm very pro-life.
yeah.
I'll say that 100%. I'm very pro-life.
Mm-hmm.
But here's my only argument on this thing. You know how they always say it's a woman's issue. Well, then if it's a woman's issue only, if it's a woman's issue, then if that baby is born, why does the man have to pay child support?
Precisely.
It's a man issue too. Like I could, if before I had children, you could have swayed me differently on this conversation if we had this conversation differently.
Yeah.
Um, the minute I saw the little head with the little tail and that thing, I was a
Mm-hmm.
dad. I was a father. I was a
Yeah.
father that day. Um, so to me, my daughter is 4 years old, but to me, she's 4 years, 9 months, or however the hell that, like, to me, that, but that I can go off on a tangent about that conversation. But
Yeah.
if, the far, I wouldn't say lefties, because there's a lot of people who have opinions on this. The people who are super pro about this, pro about abortion, fail to realize that it took two people to do that. It took two people to make this situation happen. And if the other person doesn't have a say,
Yeah.
then the other person shouldn't have to pay any goddamn dime.
Nothing. The
Nothing.
the the male should have the option to opt out of being a father before that child is born.
Yeah.
Right? So the 9 months that the baby is in the belly, the father should have at any point between 0 to 9 months say, you know what? I'm no longer interested in being the father for this child.
Yeah.
So you see, when the laws change to reflect that, I think you're gonna see a change now in society,
Yeah.
right? They're gonna say, oh, you know what? Yeah, I think the men should be a part of the conversation.
Yeah.
But I personally support safe abortions.
Yeah.
I don't I but the thing I don't get involved with is two things. One, at what point does the child in the belly becomes a human being?
Yeah.
Two, at what point does the child in the belly have rights? Those two are things that needs to be confirmed. And I
Well,
think that once those two are confirmed, by the scientists and by the academics, then that now influences the actions of the doctor. If the doctor knows, hey, okay, at this point in time, the baby has a right to life, then I can't do an abortion.
yeah.
At this point in time, the baby is a human being which has a right to life. Again, I can't do an abortion. So that is when now you find that the government is now pulled from the decision-making process between a mother and the doctor, because now the doctor is aware of his ethical and legal responsibilities to the mother and to the child.
Here, I agree with you. Here's my question to you. And my wife posed me this question.
Yeah.
When when someone dies, when do you declare what is the thing that makes them dead?
It's the thing that makes them then no life.
No, but like what has to stop for them to be dead? Like clinically,
Your
scientific
heart, your heart.
heartbeat,
Yeah.
right? So what's the difference about a fetus's heartbeat at 5 weeks?
Precisely, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That it's to the academics, the
So
scientists.
this is
Yeah.
why I like to distance myself from this conversation because we can't ever come to a solution on this issue until the experts get their head out of their ass and
Yes.
declare firmly, scientifically, when a life is a life.
Yeah. We're not talking about any social justice science or
No,
social
no,
justice
no. We're talking
academics.
about medical science. And
Yes.
until the right and until the left get their head out of their ass and and leave their agendas behind, and we
Yes.
can medically come up with a systematic time when that is a human life. To me, it's when the heart beats. Then this conversation is moot. We're going to be going through this, and it's going to
Yes.
be used as political kindling whenever the hell there's a midterm or whatever
Yes.
that's going to come right. Don't think that this is gone. When
Yeah.
Trudeau's coming up for re-election next time, even though not a goddamn thing has changed in Canada in terms of abortion laws, it will be a factor. He will
Yeah.
use it. But getting back to what we were
Yeah.
talking about,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
uh,
So Leslie. So
yeah,
so so with Leslie, the reason why she's not my number one is simple. I don't know what Leslie's humanity looks like.
yeah,
I see her, I hear what she's saying, I see what she's doing, but I don't know what her humanity looks like. I don't know what her morality really is. I don't know if she's playing a game.
yeah,
I don't know if she's pulling on people's heartstrings. I don't know,
yeah.
right? And it's the same with Pierre, right? Pierre is saying all the right things. I agree with 99.99999% of everything that Pierre says.
Yeah.
I don't trust the guy.
Yeah, and well, because he's a career politician, right? Um, but
Right?
here's my problem with Leslin. Like you said, I think she says a lot of the right things. I like a lot of her policies, but at this specific point in Canadian history, in this specific time, with the person that we have in charge and the person that's leading this country in Trudeau, she doesn't have the imposing personality,
Mhm.
the 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 mental fortitude, I don't think, and she doesn't have the right she doesn't speak. In order to change the way Canadians are thinking and the way Canadians are want to act and the way the future, she doesn't inspire through her voice as much as she should be. I think she's too reserved. I
Right.
think
The Leslin that we see on TV, I don't think that's the real Leslin.
no, I don't think so either. I think she could, if she let her real self come out, she would be way more
Yeah,
popular than she is.
I don't
She's
think that's the real Leslin.
she's playing the political game, and I don't like it. I rather see the real her than this manufactured fake. I wouldn't say
Leslin,
fake.
Leslin grew up. Leslin has Jamaican parents.
Yeah,
When I look at Leslin and I see Leslin talk, I don't see it.
yeah,
So
and
Leslin, she's not letting that side of her leak out. It seems as if she's holding in and holding it back. So I don't think we are really seeing the genuine Leslin, and that is why I am kind of,
yeah,
yeah.
and then so let's talk about the charade first, because I'll get to the two top. Okay, first of all, I'm gonna just say this: right? A man with that hair cannot lead a country. Hell no. I hate Trudeau. I hate him with a passion. But
Yeah,
at least he does his fucking hair and it looks nice. A man like that man looks like a 80-year-old potato.
he reminds me of Boris Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And worse because he's a lefty that's posing as a
yeah,
righty here. And
yeah,
now he the polls say he has the support of a lot of the French Canadian
yeah.
conservative
So,
voters.
so, so the conservatives have, and this is something that I learned about in the past year because I didn't know much about the Conservative Party,
Yeah.
right? So you have red Tories and you have blue Tories.
Yeah.
So the red Tories are the liberal leaning conservatives, and the blue Tories are the real
Yeah.
conservatives,
Yeah.
right? So what happened is that there's this battle between the red Tories and the blue Tories right now, and we don't know who's gonna come out on top. I think it's gonna be Pierre.
Yeah.
Roman Barber is my choice. I
Yeah.
want him to win, but I'm a very realistic person.
Yeah.
Seems as if Pierre is going to win, but I am not gonna stop until I get as many people as possible to rank Roman Barber #1 on their ballot.
Yeah.
Right?
And
Because anything can happen, right?
anything
Who
can happen.
knows?
But I think Charest, he shot himself in the foot. I think he should have just avoided the conversation at all. when he denounced the convoy and the
Yeah.
fact that that even happened. You could hear when he was at that debate. They were cheering him at first, and then when he denounced the convoy and said, "Oh, these people are terrible," blah blah blah,
Yeah.
they booed him right on the spot. Right? They
Yeah.
booed him. The same people who cheered him booed him. So I think he made a grave mistake, a grave error with that. He
No,
should if
you
he
know what?
didn't if he didn't agree with it, he should have just shut his mouth.
No, 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 no. We didn't want him to shut his mouth. Talk. Speak. Tell us how you feel. Tell us
Yeah.
who you are. Just be, be
No, I
truthful.
mean,
I'm happy.
I mean, as a political decision, he should have just shut his mouth on the topic
Yeah.
because he immediately lost any support from people who were on the fence about him
Yeah.
with that. Uh,
Yeah.
so I'm not even entertaining him as a candidate,
Me neither.
but you know, he's there. He will get a couple votes here or there, but I don't
Yeah.
think I really don't think it'll come to that.
Mhm.
If it does, then I'm out. I'm like
Yeah.
I've lost all hope in the Conservative Party. I'll never be voting for them ever again in my entire life. Now the two that are at the top of my ballot list, right? And I
You're skipping Scott again.
uh,
No, wait. Let's not skip Scott because I want people to know why Scott isn't even going to be ranked on my ballot.
okay.
The first time I saw Scott, he was talking about supply management. It's the socialist policy that centrally controls the operations of dairy farms in the country. So
Yeah.
he wants to end supply management. And he was the one that introduced me to supply management when I saw his post. I'm like, what the hell is supply management?
Yeah.
And I researched it and I said, oh shoot, yeah, this thing gotta go.
Yeah.
Right. So then I started to follow Scott, listen to him to find out what he's about. But then the debates came around and I heard him debate and I realized this guy is also against the Freedom Convoy. And this guy is literally Erin O'Toole light. And that
Yeah.
is why he's not going to be ranked on my ballot.
No, no, and I mean, I don't even, and like when you said the name, I'm like, who? What? I didn't,
Yeah.
I fell asleep on that part of the debate because I didn't listen to that
Yeah.
guy. So the two that are the most likely to have the highest votes, in my opinion, are Baber and Polyev. And I'll start with Polyev first because I want to leave Baber for last. Polyev says all the right things.
Yes.
Brilliant talker, brilliant mind, articulates himself brilliant. If there's one out of candidate out of all of those, out of all parties in general, who can make Trudeau feel like a piece of shit on the spot, it is that
Fear.
guy. I've watched him do it in the debates that he's had with him. I've watched him make him look silly.
Mm-hmm.
And Trudeau he has this huge, he's an egomaniac, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when anybody challenges him, his ego just grows, and
And he makes mistakes.
he makes mistakes. And Pierre is the one to make him make the biggest mistakes.
Yeah.
I think. Now my only problem with him, and I'd like to talk to him about this, and I think I will eventually. I'll tell you. I'll talk to you off air about that. But he's a career politician, and sometimes, and I've learned this in my life just by doing business. Sometimes it's too good to be true,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And I feel something in my heart is saying, buy into this, and then the other part is saying it might be too good to be true. This might be uh, a charade. It
Yeah.
might be he might be just saying and doing all these right things, and then once he gets elected, it's more of the same,
Yeah.
right?
O'Toole light again.
O'Toole, and that's precisely why I didn't vote for Aaron O'Toole,
Yeah.
and I didn't vote for the Conservative Party, and I say it publicly, and everyone's like, "Oh, you're splitting the vote." I'm not splitting shit.
Mm-hmm.
When I vote, I vote for where I want the country to go.
Yeah.
So even though I don't like Trudeau, even though I didn't want him to be in office,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna vote somebody in like O'Toole just to get somebody else in that will do more of the same, just
Yeah.
in a different
Let,
voice and in a
let me say,
different color.
yeah. You see, the conservatives, I the truth is I don't trust them.
No,
I don't trust the Conservative Party. I don't trust them. I I trust Roman, right? And let me tell you
yeah,
why I don't trust the Conservatives. I watched them parading around with Doug Ford's liberal conservative
yeah.
the last election. And Doug Ford has done more damage than Trudeau.
Oh yeah,
Tell me
100%.
I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
He has done way more damage than Justin
And I
Trudeau.
was a big Doug Ford fan. I was happy when he got in office.
Mhm.
And then COVID came around and I'm like, this is not
Yeah.
what I voted
And
for.
Pierre, Leslin, nobody in the Conservative Party called out the illegal, evil policies of Doug Ford. None of them. The only one that did is Roman Barber, Belinda
Oh,
Carajolios, and
Carlacos, yeah.
another gentleman, but he came in way late.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
came, right? But it was Belinda and Roman who stood up first and paid the price for it. But I think that the Federal Conservative Party of Canada, including Leslin and Pierre, owe Roman Barber an apology. And they owe Canada an apology for being silent for 2 years, for ignoring Roman, and for letting him go through what he did without
Yeah.
any support. This man was villainized by the media, by the provincial conservatives, by the liberals, by the NDP. Where was the federal conservatives?
They were nowhere. And when I spoke to Melissa Lantzman about this, I made sure I covered this topic, but because that interview was going so fast, when I listened back to it is when I picked this up. I wish I picked it up while I was talking to her. I asked her why, like, Doug did all this stuff. He did all this stuff that wasn't what a conservative voted for, wasn't a conservative mindset, wasn't a conservative policies. And her response to it was that there were liberal governments around the world taking all these measures, and if they didn't act the same, it would make them seem irresponsible. That was her
That's not
response to
an
me. And that's not an excuse to me, and that's not a justification. And I wish I challenged her on it. I didn't pick up on the intricacies of that statement. Because she's a politician, she worded it so well. I'm like,
yeah.
um, but that's not an excuse. And it's precisely why in this past election I did not vote for Doug. Fuck Doug, right? I did not vote for him. I'm happy that the NDP or the Liberals didn't win, but
Mhm.
I'm not happy that Doug Ford is in office, right?
Yeah, I voted New Blue.
Yeah, and the the thing is that with Roman is he was the only candidate, and he's the only, probably the only politician, in my opinion, in this country who put his entire career on the line
Mhm.
to speak up for Canadians. And if he didn't do that, if he didn't take those actions,
Mhm.
I don't know where we would be in terms of our policies and where we are
Yeah.
right now. Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I agree with you on that. My only question is that can he be the one to dethrone Trudeau, because
So
he's very soft spoken, right?
yeah. So let me tell you about that. And I understand the concerns that people have. Roman is soft spoken. He's not that aggressive. He's not a bulldog like Pierre,
Yeah,
right? Definitely, Pierre would destroy Justin Trudeau in every single aspect, but Roman will too. So don't. Here's the thing. I've been around Roman, and there's an energy that you get from him,
yeah,
right? And it's okay. So you know those people that just look calm and nice, and you think that they're a pushover,
yeah,
but then
100%. Yeah. Then you
then
get, then you when they get their hands on you, you're like, oh damn, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's Roman.
yeah, yeah,
That's him, right? So he's not a pushover. I can tell you that straight, right? But here's one of the reasons why I think Roman Barber is better for the Prime Minister of Canada than Pierre, and it's not because of any biases I have. It's because of the data that I'm seeing. Roman has the ability to galvanize support from all walks of Canada.
yeah,
Pierre is seen by the media is incorrectly painting Pierre as this far right
yeah.
MAGA head extremist,
Of
right?
course, they have to do that.
Yeah,
They're state sponsored. They have to do that,
yeah,
right?
and that is doing damage to Pierre and Pierre's reputation. I'm not saying that we should censor Pierre because of that. We should fight against that. We should oppose that,
Yeah,
right? But it's harder to do it with Roman. Very, very difficult
yeah,
because when Roman comes out and speaks, you've seen it. the media can't counter him.
No.
They can't. Like it's almost impossible. When he says something to you that, hey, A, B, C, and D, and you respond, Roman is like, no, do not mischaracterize what I said. That's not
Yeah.
what I said.
Yeah,
That's not
exactly.
what I said. And I
Yeah.
don't appreciate it. He said every single interview where they try to do that to him, he responds and says, don't do that. I don't appreciate it. And then continues with his point. That's what I'm
Yeah.
telling you, that he might not have that bulldog, you know, but he will shut you right down
Yeah.
when you step out of line. That is
Yeah.
Roman Bob.
And do you think he has the qualities to take down somebody like Trudeau in terms of policies and convincing the swing voters at this point, that to swing some of those seats? Because let's be honest with each other, like the election in Canada in terms of federal
Mhm.
really depends on what happens in GTA and in
Yeah.
Quebec. In Quebec,
All right. All right.
right?
So Charest, he can flip reds to blue, but he's going to lose the blues,
Yeah.
right? Leslin, I think Leslin, I don't think Leslin can flip. I don't think Leslin's gonna be able to flip much liberals,
Yeah.
right? But Roman can flip liberals while maintaining the blues,
Blues. Yeah.
right? As well as maintaining the people's supporters who would otherwise run away and go vote for Maxime Bernier,
Yeah.
right? And as I said, the reason why Roman can, I've seen him do it. When Roman came out and started to speak against the lockdowns, if you read the comments, if you look at the people who are galvanizing behind Roman, many of them, my following on Instagram, the 7,000 plus people,
Yeah.
many of them were once liberals,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they're following Roman Barber right now.
Yeah, because
Okay,
he speaks to them in a different kind of voice, maybe
yes, so
not as aggressive as Pierre's
yeah,
views and his.
not just that. He speaks, and when I say he speaks liberal, I'm not talking about the fake Justin Trudeau Charest liberal. I'm not talking
Yeah,
about that.
yeah,
I'm talking about liberty. I'm talking about, the right to your space, the right to bodily autonomy, for government to leave you the hell alone. He
yeah,
speaks to them, right?
yeah,
And he speaks to us at the same time, right?
yeah,
So during the entire time when he was opposing Doug Ford's lockdowns, he was saying to them, hey, guys, we should not be judging people based on their medical decision. It's not right.
yeah,
It's not good. I took the vaccine. I think that somebody else should have the option of whether to take it or not without losing their jobs. So
yeah,
he's able to speak to people in a way that they can understand. And
yeah,
I think that if Roman's voice becomes more mainstream, especially as the federal conservative leader, you're going to see a huge drop in divisive rhetoric in the country. A
yeah,
huge drop, because people are going to be hearing Roman saying, stop being so divisive. We
yeah,
need to come together. We need to unite. We need to talk. We need to be nice to each other. We need to stop. We need to stop wishing death, wishing horrible
yeah,
consequences on each other for not taking a vaccine. And that is how Roman communicates.
yeah. And I feel like Pierre kind of presents the opposite a little bit, where he is conflicting. He will try to use it to separate. I feel like he would do what he needs to do to win, and then once he's won, then he will try to fix. Whereas
Yeah.
Roman might do it the other way. He would try to fix while he's in the process of, becoming the
Pierre,
leader.
Pierre is making the same mistake that the New Blue made. So New Blue tried to speak only to conservatives,
Yeah,
and Pierre is speaking only to conservatives.
yeah. And there you go. That was, we just did an hour and a half. That was freaking awesome, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we could go on and on and on, but let everybody know where they can find you, where they can reach out to you, where they can find your business and all that
So
kind of stuff.
so my website is www.devonthompson.ca. Very, very easy. That's
Yeah.
devonthompson.ca. And my Instagram handle is True Devon Thompson. True Devon Thompson. Twitter is True Devon Thumps. No O, because there wasn't enough space. So it
Yeah,
stopped, it stopped at S, no O N. True Devon Thumps. And
yeah.
on TikTok, you can also find me, True Devon Thompson.
He's on everything. I don't fuck
Yeah.
around with, I don't fuck around with Twitter.
I,
That's too.
I, I'm on Facebook. I didn't used to mess around with Twitter either until Elon Musk said, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna buy Twitter." I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna start messing around with Twitter.
Let me jump on there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't even mess around with TikTok either until 3 months ago.
My wife's always on TikTok. I can't handle it. Like, there's
Yeah,
too many videos on TikTok. I can't.
yeah,
I can only do two. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. That's it.
yeah. I'm gonna
Other-
post a video and just run back to Instagram.
I can't, unless there's some magic app that posts to all 50 social media sites. My ass is on
Yeah,
two. That's it.
yeah,
Anyway, I appreciate it. We'll have to do it again sometime. Thank you so much for doing this podcast, and and to wrap this up quite well. I think you're somebody who like for me as somebody who was born here and raised here, and for me this is what Canada's about. Immigrants like you who move here, come for a better life, and not only just come, but speak up for yourself and
mhm,
speak up for others. And I hate it when I shouldn't say I hate it. I hate when people, regardless, just succumb to whatever and just let other people speak for them. I think it's a beautiful thing what you're doing, and that you're putting yourself out there, and you know what, keep doing it because people like it. They just you're giving voice to some people that otherwise wouldn't have a voice.
yeah.
So
Thank you.
no problem. And anyway, that's it for us.